beast, so the king should be grateful that he saved their lives. But the king asks a knight about his performance in the battle, so the knight explains that he actually positioned himself behind the army and ran away as they fought the demons, so the king becomes frustrated. The hero checks his stats, trying to understand why he trained for a whole month, but it hasn't improved at all. He believes that he can only defeat weak magical beasts, since he hasn't gained a skill yet. His servant Suya reports for her duties, so the hero thinks she came at a good time and takes her to his room. The next day, Fio and Fenris go to the city, planning to register at the Adventurers Guild, when a merchant calls them a couple. So Fio considers the idea, thinking they'll be able to travel without looking suspicious, and Fenris agrees to this, saying she wants to be his wife. He explains that they're just pretending to be a couple, but she doesn't care, because she just wants to be with him. They enter the Adventurers Guild, where the guild attendant asks Fenris about her name. She almost reveals her true identity, but Fio interrupts her and registers her under the name Riss. Fio asks her to be careful so people don't find out, and she apologizes for being reckless. The guild attendant announces that an urgent mission has arisen, and they need to defeat a herd of psychotic bears in the north. She explains that the reward will be 10 times larger than usual, but everyone hesitates because the psychotic bears were able to defeat the hero's army. Fio also wants to refuse, but Riss asks him to accept it, claiming she can handle the bears alone. They teleport away, and Riss is excited to hunt, but they hear a scream and discover that the girls he saved before are surrounded by the bears. Riss wants to ignore them since they're weak, but the girls are no match for the bears, so Fio casts a lightning spell, which eliminates most of them. The last one tries to kill Bolano, but Riss takes it down, and they realize that Fio saved their lives again. They're happy that he's okay, but they ask him about Riss, so he introduces her as his travel companion, so she becomes depressed, because she wanted him to introduce her as his wife. A bear suddenly emerges behind her, but she glares at him, and he becomes so scared that he collapses. He begs for his life, so she decides to make him her pet, but the girls are shocked, as Riss explains that this will further increase Fio's reputation. He doesn't seem to mind, so he activates a restraint spell and transforms the bear into a cute creature. They name him Saib, and Balarosa can't believe they just tamed a bear. Moments later, the girls formally introduce themselves, and we learn that Baleri is the archer, Blossom is a heavy knight, and Bolano is the group's sorceress. Balarosa asks Fio to train them so they can fight alongside the hero, telling him about the hero's army, which was decimated by a horde of psychotic bears. She explains that after the incident, the hero locked himself up and refused to fight until he found someone worthy to be his right hand, so the king ordered everyone to level up until they can defeat a bear alone. She begs for help, but Riss exudes a dark aura as she gets jealous of them. Fio senses her anger, so he explains that she's actually his wife, and this immediately makes her happy, saying he should teach the girls how to fight. The girls thank them, but they ask for another favor, wondering if he would let them sleep at the house, because it's too dangerous to camp outside. Riss thinks it's okay, since the house was provided by the guild for the mission, saying she will sleep beside Fio because they're married. Meanwhile, the demon Eulimenes reports to the demon lord, saying the purification spell was cast by just one person. So he wonders who could be capable of doing this, and orders her to capture him immediately. The next day, Fio wakes up, and he's surprised to see Riss in front of him, but she reminds him that they're now married. He remembers that the previous night, Riss was ready to formalize their marriage and devote her body to him, but he rejected her, thinking it was too soon for them to do it. So he decided to sleep in the hallway, but Riss warned him that the others might suspect their relationship. Riss wants to help him change his clothes, but Balarosa suddenly enters the room to remind him of the training, thinking she's interrupting them, so she immediately leaves. They start the training by facing a giant boar, but Balarosa starts running away, and Blossom attacks, but she misses, so Bolano protects her with a barrier. Baleri launches an arrow, but it doesn't do anything, and Bolano starts feeling sick after using too much mana. The giant boar starts chasing them, and Fio realizes they have a long way to go. After the training, they go to their new home, and the girls thank Fio for allowing them to stay. He explains that he was able to buy the house at a discount after defeating the psychotic bears. Riss arrives, telling them that the food is ready, but Fio is shocked to see raw meat. She prepared it as a celebration for the new house, but he explains that humans prefer cooked meat. So he and Balarosa decide to prepare the meal, and Riss is confused, but Saib thinks the meat is great. The group thanks Fio for preparing the food, but he explains that he had help from Balarosa, so she blushes, thinking she's better in the kitchen than with a sword. They realize it's delicious, but Riss still can't believe this food can be tasty. Fio explains that he made the salad, so she decides to try it as his wife, and discovers it has a great flavor. He suggests trying the meat, and Riss can't believe how crunchy and juicy it is, and wonders how grilled meat can be so good, while Fio thanks Balarosa for cooking the meat for her. They go to the guild to sell the giant boars, and Fio notices that everyone's staring at them, wondering if he overdid it. Riss asks permission to go to the city alone, while he waits for their goods to be evaluated. He asks her if she needs help, but she explains that she doesn't, saying she just needs to deal with personal matters. The head of the guild, Lilith, asks to talk to Fio in his office, while Riss stays and looks at the cooking poster. Lilith reveals that his fame has spread throughout the city, so Fio realizes that he really overdid it. Lilith explains that he received a request from the king to hire him as a knight and work under the hero, who is gathering powerful individuals to fight against the darkness. He admits that as the guild owner, he doesn't want to see Fio leave, but thinks he's important for saving the world. He thinks of Riss for a moment, realizing he has no reason to fight, because he came from another world, so he refuses the offer. He leaves the guild, but he sees Riss in terrible shape, so he thinks it must be the work of a magical beast, but Riss just smiles at him, realizing that cooking is harder than she thought. We learn that she's taking a cooking course to impress him, but the first day didn't go well, because she messed up all the recipes, and blew up the kitchen, but she's determined to win his love by cooking. Meanwhile, the hero learns about Fio and Riss, as Suya explains that they're hunting magical beasts, so the hero asks to bring them to him. A royal messenger arrives for Fio, but he denies the proposal from the castle, and Riss is annoyed with their persistence. Fio thanks Blossom for taking care of the garden, and they continue their daily training. Riss thinks Valeri should shoot three-eyed birds instead of wooden targets, but she hesitates because she doesn't want to kill a cute bird. Fio gives Bolano a magic ring to amplify her magical powers, so she gets surprised by the gift and tries to put it on her ring finger, but Riss appears out of nowhere and threatens to kill her if she does that. Balarosa is attacked by a giant insect and screams for Fio's help, but Riss cuts it in half and tells Balarosa to stop pretending to be helpless to get Fio's attention. Riss prepares a meal for everyone, and they can't believe it's so tasty. She admits that she's been taking cooking classes, but she never imagined it would be so much fun. So she serves a curry to Fio, and is delighted that he loves it, as she remembers her teacher mentioning that the strong seasoning shows the intensity of her love. They enjoy the food, but Eulimenes is spying on them, and she can't believe that Fenris is with a human. But Fenris suddenly appears behind her, and she brings Eulimenes to Fio, who welcomes her with hot tea. Eulimenes observes Riss's behavior, and can't believe that the almighty Fenris is being controlled by an ordinary man. Riss explains that she's now married to him, but Eulimenes can't believe it, and tries to measure Fio's powers with her appraisal, but realizes she can't read his stats. She notes that this has never happened before, and we learn that even the Demon Lord can't hide his stats from her. She asks Fio about the forest, since she found no magical beasts, but he explains that he used a purification spell, so she realizes he's the one she's looking for. She reveals that because of this spell, Riss's brother was killed along with his men, but Fio can't believe he's responsible for the death of Riss's brother. But Riss already knew about this, saying Fio is one of the few humans capable of using purification magic, but she thinks it's her brother's fault for not being strong enough, and explains her feelings haven't changed, so she'll dedicate her life to him. They suddenly notice the girls at the door, and we learn that they listened to the whole conversation, so they realize that Riss is the wolf that tried to kill them. Fio is worried, and Eulimenes thinks he's a threat, so she challenges him to a fight, wanting to gather all information about his powers, but Riss thinks she's trying to steal her husband. They decide to fight outside, and Eulimenes quickly launches a poison spell to distract him, while casting another one on the ground. But he easily dispels her magic, and traps her with his crucifixion spell, forcing her to surrender. The next day, Eulimenes returns to the Dark Castle, and Fio tells the girls about Riss, assuring them that she has changed, so she won't attack humans. They acknowledge that Riss has been helping them for the past month, and she has become their benefactor, so they don't want to harm her by telling the king. Eulimenes returns with an army of dragons, and the girls are terrified, so she asks them to surrender, but Theo is amazed seeing dragons for the first time. So she becomes annoyed, ordering the dragons to attack, but Theo casts a celestial spell called Divine Hammer, which eliminates several dragons in an instant. She thinks this is impossible, and flees along with the remaining dragons. Blossom thinks Theo is incredible, and regrets not taking the opportunity to attack the dragon, because she could have earned the title of Dragon Slayer. But Theo tells her to try, advising her to throw her weapon at them, so she follows his instruction, and he uses his enhancement magic to strengthen it, killing a dragon in one hit. Her level increases, and she can't believe she has earned the title of Dragon Slayer. The other girls also want the title, but Theo explains that the dragons have already fled, so they realize it's too late. Meanwhile, the Demon Lord watches everything, and he looks forward to meeting Theo, telling his men that it's time to make their next move. Theo creates a barrier around the house, and he reveals that it will alert them when a demon enters the area. Riss thinks about Eulimenes, saying Theo is too lenient because he didn't do anything to punish her after she attacked them. But he explains that he wasn't trying to be nice, and we learn that he still can't get over the fact that he killed Riss's brother. We see the girls looking at Blossom's stats, and they think the title of Dragon Slayer sounds cool, but Balarosa walks away, saying she needs to hunt magical beasts to get stronger. So they think she's amazing, because she never stops training, but we see that she's actually crying, because she wanted to have that title. She reveals that Dragon Slayer is a coveted title for adventurers, and it allows commoners to become nobles. So she regrets not taking the opportunity, because she could have improved her family's life by acquiring the title. A wanderer suddenly approaches her, saying he's looking for Riss, but Balarosa finds him suspicious, so she threatens to kill him, knowing he's from the Dark Army. She asks him why he's looking for Riss, so he explains that he just wants to see her,